We bought this 1980s house with everything included.
When he said he was leaving everything, he's left everything.
And now we're attempting to transform it into our dream home. In the last episode, we discovered our biggest setback to date. That's bad.
Oh dear.
And completely transformed the front yard. But today we're tearing into the upstairs to see just how bad it really is. Oh my gosh. We're Andy and MH. After 6 years driving across the globe, from California to Argentina, up to the Arctic, Europe to Turkey, and through Africa, we're now building our home base in Idaho, transforming a 1980s house into our dream home, wrenching on our rigs, and still chasing adventure.
So last week we learned that our roof is not vented or insulated properly. You're not meant to have insulation against the wood, right?
Right. It needs that ventilation.
So the cedar on the ceilings is going to have to come down.
Yes, it would.
Basically, it either needs to be a vented system or an unvented system, and ours is neither. So right now we've got insulation pushed right up against the OSB board, and we only got the roof last year. So we don't want to take the roof off, which means we're going to have to take the ceilings down. And anytime I've tried to take some of these down, because it's so brittle and it's got so many nails in it, it's all broke. But we'll do our best to try and see what we can salvage. Hopefully we can save enough to at least do the bar room downstairs. I've not even put any plaster on this ceiling yet, it's just drywall, so this is going to be the easiest. So let's just start where it's easy. I'm actually tempted to get some quotes on getting a drywaller and plasterer to do this ceiling. I always say that and then I end up doing it myself because I'm too tight. But we can always ask, can't we? Oh, there we go. Whoa. Right, 2 boards down. You know, nobody likes to go backwards on things that they've done, but it's life, isn't it? You know, what can you do? At least I haven't plastered it all and painted it all and all that stuff, so it could definitely be worse. I'm now debating as well if all the ceilings are going to be off everywhere. Do I rewire everything just for a bit more peace of mind that things are a bit more up to date? Like I've rewired certain sections, but like around here, you know, do I just do the rest of it? Something to think about. Right, let's check this out then. See if it's got any moisture up here. Yeah, I can feel a bit of moisture. And this is probably something that we could have got away with for years, maybe a decade or whatever, I don't know, but while we're here at this stage, I'd rather just get it sorted and it be done properly. I will get a moisture meter as well and test this wood and see what the moisture content is, because I do want to make sure it's 100% dry or whatever level it needs to be before we go any further. So which is another reason why I want to strip everything now, so now I can give it time while we're getting quotes from different companies and looking at different methods and all that sort of stuff, because from what I'm reading online, everybody seems to be their method is the right way to do it, but there's so many different methods. And then being in America, there's different zones for, like, people in Florida do it different to up here, or Alaska or Montana, different humidity, different heat, different ways of doing things. It doesn't seem to be like, this is the way to do it. Right now, I'm swaying towards closed cell spray foam, but I've also not had a quote yet. I can actually see a little bit of daylight through there. It's got a bit of a crack in. Is that rotten? Need to investigate that a little bit more. It really is a can of worms, isn't it? Where does that saying even come from? Who opens cans of worms? Okay, so the part that I was dreading, taking the cedar down. Let's see how this goes. I'm guessing the first couple, we don't have much choice. In fact, will it just, I just go steady and just work my way along? I think I might get that. That'd be nice if it does. Hang on a minute. That's a full board. We actually might have a bit of hope with this one. Nice one. This is gonna work. I mean, as long as I can try and save enough to do the bar room, that's like the main priority. This is working, this is working. Okay, just 1,000 more to go. Okay, so I've got all the cedar down now, and I want to say probably 85% of it are saved. So, like, Mary Hannah's actually working away this weekend. She's actually in Costa Mesa, where we used to live in California, this weekend for an overlanding expo. Anyway, back to the story. We've kept probably 85% of it, so when she comes home, I think she's going to be absolutely buzzing. As long as it's like this downstairs, like I said, we're probably going to end up putting drywall on the ceiling. Again, drywall on a ceiling, it's a weird thing, or plasterboard to the rest of the world. Yeah, absolutely buzzing with that. Now let's get this insulation down and see what it looks like. This is all original, I've never touched this. Yeah, I think that's had moisture in it at some point, so it's a good job we're doing this. This is actually has got different timbers compared to the ones on this side, which makes sense because this is sort of like an extension, this piece. It looks like when they did the roof, they've cut out all the old OSB, and this is new OSB here, but the insulation looks like it's definitely been damp in the past, which makes sense. Like, we've never actually lived upstairs, so obviously there's going to be less condensation from, like, we don't have heaters up here, we're not breathing out moisture, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing this, you know what I mean? It's just peace of mind that it's going to be done properly. Well, that's some pretty good progress. I'm happy with that. I really just wanted to get this room stripped out to see what we were dealing with, and it actually looks a bit better in here than what I imagined. In there definitely looks worse, but I can definitely see like mold starting to form, so we got to it just in time, I reckon. But it's 8:30, it's Saturday night, I need to go get some food, and then I'll crack on again tomorrow. Well, today we're going to crack on with the upstairs bedroom, which would have been pretty much just getting rid of all the insulation and what have you, but it actually turned out to be a really nice day today. It was -5 when we woke up, but really crisp, no clouds. So me and Benji have gone for a long hike, and now I've come back, I thought, you know what? I mean, it's not warm out here, but it's dry at least. I'm going to do some servicing, so I need to do an oil change on Tango, and I've got my friend's Ineos Grenadier, so I'm going to do that. I've also got, this is where I'm at right now with things. Nothing seems to be working. I've got the Arctic Cat, which is one of the quad bikes that like fired up, and it's been running like a dream ever since we got it. And then I went for a ride with Mary Hannah's dad, and we got to the top of the mountain, had a look over the overview, went to carry on with our ride, and it's just not started since, and I don't know what it is. Maybe if you're more of an Arctic Cat guru, you might know, but this is all new to me, and I'm not a mechanic. But it's got spark, it's got fuel. Maybe the fuel pressure's not enough, I don't know, because I did read that it's quite a high pressure, so maybe I should test that. So anyway, I've got the Arctic Cat to fix, and I've also got the Yamaha Grizzly, which Jason took the carb out and cleaned it up, and he said it was the worst carb he'd ever seen. And now it's running nice, but it's not charging, so I need to work on the charging system on that to get it going. And then over here, obviously the electric bikes are brand new, so they're working like a dream, but the little Honda 250, I think that must need a carb clean or something like that, because I can get it to run and then it'll just stop again. And last but not least is the Land Rover LR3. Really, we should just get rid of this, but I think it's got, one, it's not really worth much, and two, you know, this was the first vehicle that started like our journey off, and I paid $3,000 for this, and it drove all across North America, Central America, and to the bottom of Argentina. But now it's got a problem with the transmission where I can only go in manual or Tiptronic or whatever you want to call it, and I can use gears 1 to 4. As soon as I go into 5th, it comes up with faults and things. I'm not going to get round to doing all these today, but I figure seeing as though it's dry today, I may as well get this Ineos service for my mate and then get Tango's first oil change done. Right, Tango's warmed up. Let's drop the oil. It's been a good few months now since I put the new engine in Tango, and I'm just doing the first oil change on it, which is 500 miles. So hopefully we don't find any particles or anything like that in it. We'll cut the filter open and see. A day for overalls, because no doubt I'm going to get covered in oil. No matter how hard I try, I always seem to drop it. I'll do my best though. I should have put my rubber gloves on. Right, the oil's dropping. Now to get the oil filtered out. I don't want to speak too soon, but so far I've not dropped any oil anywhere. I can't wait until one day. I've dreamt about this for, I don't know, the last 18 years or whatever, but I'm going to have my own garage with a lifter in, so I'm not having to lay it out on the gravel in the cold and wet. Oh geez, that's just splashed on my face. I need to get a rag. I've got no excuse for not wearing gloves as well. I'm going to have a look at this oil filter. Just double check there's nothing in there. So I need to cut that open. I'm going to try and break that top off and get in there and have a good look. There is actually a few little bits. I'm not a engine builder, so I don't know if that's normal on a brand new engine. Like, I don't know if you can see on the camera. There's a few shiny bits. Another one, another couple there. Is that normal on a brand new engine? I don't know. That's a question for my brother probably. I should definitely check again on the next oil change. Maybe I'll do 2,000 mile next. So we've got a new filter, we've dropped the old oil, now it's just a case of putting the new stuff in. I'm curious, do you guys do your own servicing or do you just take it somewhere? When I saw the dealership prices for servicing, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do it myself. I know Kevin does his own next door, and he does his oil changes every 2,500 miles. So no wonder his old Cummins has got like 500,000 miles on it, and it's still going strong. And there we go. That's another oil change down, that'll do us. I also, just before I went camping, me and Benji, I fitted this new air intake from Alisport, which came from England. So I'm happy with that. And I also got some more soundproofing from Noise Killer while I was making an order. So this is like a sound deadening blanket that's got some lead inside it, and I've got all new to replace this stuff, which has been in there 5 years or whatever. Right, one down, one to go. I'm gonna get off the ground a little bit this time. I thought it would dry, but it's just because the ground were frozen, and then once I laid on it with the body heat, it's all soaked into my clothes. This is actually first oil change on this engine too. This was a brand new vehicle when I got it. I said to my friend Alex, you order all the parts and I'll fit it for you. And this is nice to see, he's got all genuine stuff. His air filter's actually not that bad, but he's got a new one, so he's gonna have a new one. I see why he ordered a cabin filter now, jeez. Why is there so much grass in there? So this is the old one, that's the new one for reference. I actually wasn't even going to check it because I thought, you know, it's such low mileage. That's crazy. He bought this on the east coast and then he drove all across the west coast and over the sand dunes and done like a crazy road trip across America, so I suppose that's what you get even if it is low miles. Right, that's another one done. So that's new cabin filter, new air filter, new oil and new oil filter. It's all good to go again. And I would normally say that Alex owes me a beer for servicing his car, but my LR3 was broken with the transmission and then I needed an engine in the Defender, so I didn't have a car. So he said, I tell you what, mate, I'll leave this Ineos at your house and you can use it until you get the engine sorted. Cheers, Alex. I should probably get rid of the overalls before I drive the car. It looks like I'm just packing up in time as well. Well, that's a wrap on this project, but before we go inside for a cup of tea, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Bombas Socks. If you haven't heard of Bombas, they actually make amazing socks, underwear and t-shirts, which just so happens to be 3 of the most requested items in homeless shelters. And every single one of those items that you buy, they will donate 1 for 1, which is amazing because for obvious reasons, shelters generally don't take in socks and underwear. To date, Bombas has actually donated over 150 million items and counting. One thing I am big on coming from my days as a paratrooper is if you're going to spend the money on good footwear, you need to back that up with good socks. And I'm personally a big fan of a merino wool blend. One for the temperature regulating in the heat or in the cold, but mainly for me, having sweaty feet, is the moisture wicking properties. And Bombas has a 100% happiness guarantee, which means if you're not in love with them, or your dryer eats them, or your dog takes one off into the woods, then you'll be able to exchange them for free. Feel good and do good with Bombas. Knowing your purchase is doing real good. New customers get 20% off their first order. All you need to do is go to bombas.com/Expedition Rove and use code Expedition Rove at checkout. Right, and off we go. We should probably go and do a little lap and make sure there's no rattles or squeaks. Well, I feel like that was a successful day. Yes, I didn't get any house projects done, but I managed to get a couple of those jobs that I needed to do ticked off, and I also enjoyed it on a Sunday.
Pidgey, come on in. Come on in.
Well, I'm glad that I did the servicing yesterday because we woke up to this, and I would definitely not be laying on my back today doing it.
No, it's like a winter wonderland. I thought it had just been like this all weekend. I can't believe it's just overnight.
Crazy. I thought winter were over, but obviously not.
It would be nice if we got a little bit more winter, to be fair.
You've still not done any winter camping?
I know. Maybe we should try and get out this week.
Yeah.
Have to look at the weather.
Benji! Come here, Benji!
I got back super late last night. I think it was about 2 or 2:30 when I finally rolled into the house. But I just love being back up here. I feel like it's a completely different pace of life, you know, to wake up and get to go in for a little stroll in our own little winter wonderland back here. It's pretty neat. I was down in California this weekend for the Overland Expo. there in Costa Mesa, which is actually where Andy and I used to live. So I went by where he used to work at the Land Rover mechanic there. And yeah, it was just kind of nostalgic. Like everywhere I looked, I was like, oh my God, do you remember when that happened? Oh my gosh, do you remember when that happened? Got to see and hang out with one of our old neighbors. It was just really cool. It is so nice out here. I mean, this is pretty dreamy, isn't it? What are you doing?
This is my favourite pastime, looking at trucks.
I took the day off work and we just came into town to get food, and Andy's like, oh, I know what we could do.
I think having the cameras for the trailers is a must. Well, now that I've made a huge mess, it's time to get rid of all this. Kevin's nicely lent me his trailer, so at least rather than bagging everything up and like trying to get it in the back of the car or on my little ATV trailer, I'm just going to get it straight in the back of his and just throw it all out of the window.
Right. Out of the window it goes. I just can't quite reach the trailer.
Got us loaded up for the dump this morning. Because obviously it's light and I don't want insulation blowing everywhere, I've put OSB sheets on top, so that should hopefully hold everything down, and then it's enclosed on the side, so I'll keep an eye on it, but I think that should be good. Well, drop off complete. I sort of wish that I would have compacted it a little bit more so I would have paid less, but it is what it is. And Mariana just called me and she said the company that's going to come around and give us our quote for the spray foam insulation are going to be here in like 25 minutes, so I need to get my toe down a little bit. Hopefully I make it.
Okay, y'all, so we ended up getting a quote today for insulation. It was $15,000, which is a little bit shocking, and I don't know what we were expecting, but I definitely wasn't expecting 15 grand for insulation. That's not including any of the prep work. It's not including removing the ceilings, any of that. So yeah, good times. We are going to get a couple more quotes. We have somebody that's hopefully coming out later this week, and then we'll make our decision from there. We're also researching the do-it-yourself stuff and seeing if that's an option. But tonight we are going to take out the cedar ceilings in the second bedroom upstairs and tackle this one together. No. Oh. What?
This is worse than I thought it would be. I wonder if it's been leaking out here or this is just the condensation.
Yeah, it could have been from the old roof too.
Either way, I'm glad we're taking it down and just...
It's starting fresh. Yeah, me too. Definitely. I had this sneaky feeling that some of the ceilings were going to be quite bad. Like in the bar room, I think it might be quite bad, you know, because it clearly had leaks in it.
Well, at least we're doing it now and getting it done properly.
Amen.
That's a good one.
Is this good?
Yeah, they should pretty much be good now.
That insulation looks so bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like you've got a pretty good technique.
Tedious, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh, that's nasty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. That's so nasty, Andy.
that's crazy.
That's just like a little...
That's all seeds.
That's disgusting.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Moral of the story, don't leave buckets of some flower seeds open in your house when you live near all the fields and stuff. Does this make you glad that we're taking it down?
I'm actually so thankful we're taking it down now. And now I want to take it down in every room.
Well, there's only 2 rooms that we're not taking it down in. The bedroom and the dining room. After we've done all this, we
Might as well just take it down. Oh my god.
Oh, what's that bit? What are they?
Oh my god, that's cat food.
Oh, it's cat food!
No way.
Well, at least that's going to save us a trip to the supermarket. I'll give that to Will.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy! No way!
So nasty.
What was that?
Stop it.
I can almost reach now, at least. That's going to make it faster.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. I think we found their little home.
I think that's more like a hotel than a home. Just keeps going and going. They must have come from that attic space behind and then just stayed in this bay. So if it's cat biscuits, I mean, even if it's seeds, that's from downstairs. So they've come up that kitchen wall. Oh, in fact, this is below
Where
The-
you, yeah.
the wall
The
that I
laundry
took
room.
down. So they've come all the way up.
Yeah. Originally, I was so upset about it, but actually feels like a blessing in disguise, doesn't it?
It does make you feel better about going, like, sorting it out. Like, knowing that all this was just going to be above here. And now, like, every single room in the house is going to have new insulation.
I'm honestly just here for moral support.
It's better than working by myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, it's just packed solid. How many? There must be like 1 million runs for a little mouse to carry this many things. I'm not saying one mouse, obviously, but that's fair play to them. Some effort, that.
I can't get over the amount of effort it would have taken to bring all that cat food up here and then they didn't eat it.
Yeah, I wonder why. Might not have been a good brand. Well, last board.
I'd like to eat some ice cream after this.
Is that what this makes you want to do? I'll get that shovel.
Right, we start taking insulation down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we've taken all this down because this is really going to give us peace of mind for basically every room's going to be brand new now. I mean, we didn't want to go that far, but you know, we're here now. And because the mice seem to have been in this channel and there's a bit of a hole here, I'm going to take all this back wall down as well. And you never know, we might be able to extend this bedroom a little bit, I don't know. But either way, that drywall's coming off and we're going to see what the insulation's like behind it and rebuild it. Maybe we could even cut out a little walk-in wardrobe area or something, because behind here is like the attic space.
I love that idea.
But we just really want to have peace of mind that there's, like, we're not seeing any mice run out or anything like that, but just the fact that they've been living there. But we're gonna just to be extra safe, before we get it spray foamed, we're gonna get a mold test done. We just want to tick every single box and make sure we're doing everything right before it gets covered up.
We did have 2 mold mitigators come out before we bought the house, but now that the ceilings are open up, seems like the perfect time to just get 100% peace of mind before we cover it back up again. Ice cream time.
Okay.
Okay. It's honestly gonna look like a different place.
Well, I think we're going to call it a night. And I won't lie, at the start of this project, when we first got told that we had the wrong system or the wrong insulation, that definitely knocked us back a bit of a sixer. But seeing what we've uncovered, and now we're going to have peace of mind that everything's going to be done properly. We're going to have the right insulation. There's going to be no mice hotels up here. We've managed to keep the cedar so we can use cedar again downstairs. I think this was just a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week as we start to rebuild the upstairs.
And please hit that subscribe button. It costs naught to you, but means a lot to me.